The Walking Dead. For 12 years, this show had me sad every Sunday, 9 p.m. on the dot. Even sticking it out the extra hour with
Chris Hardwick, we're just...
From elementary school to college, I practically grew up with this show and watched how it changed over the 12 years, eventually even getting into the comic books that started it all. But now that the main show's over, it kinda seems like AMC is just scrambling for content with all of these spin-offs, just trying to recreate what The Walking Dead once was. This gritty, sad, and realistic take on humanity during an apocalypse. Instead, they're just taking established characters and throwing them into new situations and new places, and to me it just doesn't feel right. So, to help keep one of my favorite universes stay alive, I am gonna do their job for them. The perfect spin-off is sitting right in front of their faces, and I'm of course talking about Telltale's The Walking Dead. Nothing would excite me more as a Walking Dead fan than seeing Lee and Clementine on my TV screen. Now listen, I love the games. The story is damn near perfect and it doesn't need to be changed at all. But, if done right, a live-action Clementine show would bring The Walking Dead back to its glory days. So in order to try and keep everyone happy here, the show will take place in the TV universe, and the games will take place in the comic universe, which they already do anyways. Before we officially start, let's talk about how the first season would actually play out. Running a total of 14 episodes, about 40 to 45 minute range, the show would follow the game's 5 main arcs. A new day, starved for help, long road ahead, around every corner, and no time left. The breakdowns of each episode are right here, so feel free to pause and read if you'd like. The show would start exactly like the game, only adding a few more silent scenes of the cop transporting Lee out of the main city and onto the interstate. Once they get onto the interstate, realistically, there would be a shit ton of traffic trying to leave, so they'll get stuck there, that leading to the start of their conversation, which will generally be the same. The cop, being his arrogant self, eventually will pull off onto the shoulder to pass all the traffic, and we see that they're all trying to exit out of the city. Now, without the traffic, the cop starts telling the same story from the game,
crying and snotting all over right where you're sitting,
about the suspect he caught red-handed, which obviously leads to
this other time.
After the crash will play out pretty much the same, with Lee waking up, breaking out, inspecting the cop, and eventually taking him out in the exact same way. He'll then continue to stumble his way up the hill, running from more zombies, all the way up to Clementine's house, where he'll enter slow and cautiously, announcing himself the same way, looking for help. When entering the house, the answering machine beeping will catch his attention immediately, and that's where he'll also find the walkie-talkie. He'll start the answering machine playing the 3 voicemails from Clem's mom.
3 new messages. Message 1, left at 5:43 p.m.
Hey, Sandra, this is Diana. We're still in Savannah. Ed had a little incident with some crazy guy near the hotel, so we had to get him back to the ER and have it checked out. Anyway, he's not feeling well enough to drive back tonight, so we're staying an extra day. Thanks so much for looking after Clementine, and I promise we'll be back in time before your spring break.
Message 2, left at 11:19 p.m.
Oh my God, finally. I don't know if you tried to reach us. All the calls are getting dropped. They're not letting us leave and aren't telling us anything about Atlanta. Please, just leave the city and take Clementine with you back to Murrieta. I've got to get back to the hospital. Please let me know that you're safe.
Message 3, left at 6:51 a.m.
Clementine, baby. If you can hear this, call the police. That's 911. We love you. We love you. We love you.
These voicemails in the game are so chilling and depressing, I almost want to keep the exact audio, but in some way these need to make it into the show. By the time the last voicemail ends, Lee will be looking out the back window holding the walkie-talkie, and the rest will practically stick to the book. The walkie-talkie clicks, Clem and Lee talk briefly before he gets attacked by the babysitter, and Clementine comes down and hands him the hammer to put the babysitter down. This would be our first real encounter with Clementine, as we'll see a bit from her POV running down her treehouse to help Lee. After, they'll share some of the same dialogue, especially about Clem's parents returning, and Lee and Clementine will both choose that they should leave right away. During this conversation, it is made abundantly clear that Lee thinks her parents are not coming back. Quick pause. To keep things clean with continuity, Herschel's farm has probably got to be changed. The story will somewhat be the same, but just the characters and location will be different. Quick unpause. Clem and Lee would walk a couple of blocks, witnessing some of the chaos and some of the empty homes. Then they'll run into a new character, Ethan and his friend. Similar to the game interaction, Ethan would be pushing a car, while the friend sits in the truck. The two will question Lee and Clementine pretty much the same way that they did in the games, and this time Lee will answer honestly.
Just some guy.
Some guy?
Yeah.
She's alone?
The conversation will continue on until some zombies pull up and force them to get out of there, taking Lee and Clementine with them. New for the show, we'll switch over to Kenny and his family, fueling up his truck at a gas station. Kaja and Duck will be in the truck while Kenny is pumping the gas, and Duck will annoyingly ask for something inside. Kenny, being the great dad that he is, agrees, so he'll walk in, go straight to the candy aisle, but the store is dead quiet. Walking to the cash register, there's no one there, but a weird gushing and crunching sound. Kenny will look around the gas station and then peek over the counter, just to see another employee crouched down, eating the cashier. Running out in a panic, also carrying the candy, Kenny gets into his car and drives off without a second thought. While they get away, Kenny rants to his family about how the people were right about the cannibalism and how they gotta get far away in his boat. After driving for a little bit, they'll spot an open motel with a few cars, and they'll pull in. We'll cut back to Lee and Clem in the back of Ethan's truck, driving in silence as Clem is starting to fall asleep. Living close by, it doesn't take long until they pull into the same motel that Kenny and his family pulled up to, where we find George sitting outside waiting for his son. The character George will be very similar to Telltale's Herschel, and the interaction will go pretty much the exact same. George being suspicious of Lee with Clem, but because of Clem and Andy's word, he lets them share a room with another family.
I missed my mom and dad.
I bet, Clem.
How far is Savannah?
Pretty far.
Oh.
Lee's nightmare will feature him sitting outside of a suburban house with blood on his fists and a faint siren getting closer and closer. In the morning, Lee wakes up in a jolt. He then checks the room to see Clem is not in her bed. Quickly getting up and opening the door, he sees Clementine, Duck, and another child running around playing in the parking lot. That's where he also sees Kenny working on his truck, with Kaja sitting right next to him watching the kids. To finish the episode, we'll jump back to the gas station, showing the blood on the floor, but revealing that neither of the bodies are still there. And that is our pilot episode done. If you made it this far in the video, thank you. Also, I plan on doing the entire first season of the games, probably 1 or 2 episodes a video. So if you liked this, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the rest of the season. As always, let me know your thoughts and ideas down in the comments, and I will see you next video.